Here's more wrestling news for June 7th, 2022, and your headlines for this afternoon include: WWE confirms John Cena's return, what's next for the 16-time world champion? WWE brings back tag team and gives them babyface turn on latest Raw. Update on Kota Ibushi after recent controversy with New Japan. Pat McAfee explains why he wasn't at Hell in a Cell. Former WWE champion in line for huge push in Cody Rhodes' absence. Latest on Adam Cole's injury, status for Forbidden Door event, what happened after this week's WWE Raw went off the air, and more. We are kicking off with John Cena, who will always be one of the biggest superstars that WWE has ever seen, with the entire month of June being dedicated to the 16-time WWE World Champion. This month also marks 20 years since John debuted by answering Kurt Angle's Open Challenge, and fans will soon get to see him in person again. On Twitter, WWE announced Cena's return on the June 27th Raw in Laredo, Texas, which will also mark 20 years to the day since he debuted on the main roster. Cena followed that up with a tweet of his own, saying he's been gone for far too long and made it clear that he's excited to return. No indication has been given as to what Cena will be doing on the show, only that he was able to find a gap in his busy Hollywood schedule to make it. For what it's worth, Cena and United States Champion Theory have been teasing a match with each other, which is rumored for SummerSlam, so time will tell what John does upon his return to WWE. Now on this week's Raw, MVP and Omos returned to the Red Brand and were not in a happy mood after losing to Bobby Lashley. On the show, Omos crushed his opponent before Byron Saxton could even complete a sentence, but the pair were confronted by two men fans haven't seen in quite some time. In their segment, Omos and MVP were confronted by the Dirty Dogs, who went missing from TV for months ever since Dolph Ziggler lost the NXT Championship to Braun Breaker. The Dirty Dogs were interviewed, which frustrated MVP, though the latter was on the receiving end of a superkick by Ziggler. Not only was this a surprising return, but it now appears that a babyface turn is in store for Ziggler and likely Rude, something that fans haven't seen for either man in a very long time. With the Usos being the most dominant heel tag team around, it makes sense that WWE would want more face teams to challenge for the undisputed WWE tag team titles, something the Dirty Dogs could do. Whether that means the team of Rude and Ziggler actually win the titles, that's hard to say at this point, but WWE is keeping their options open with this fresh babyface turn. Over to New Japan now, as Kota Ibushi is a mainstay of the company, despite having some shocking accusations to make about the promotion. Last month, Ibushi said he was going to expose the sexually harassing bosses of New Japan Pro Wrestling and has shared private messages between himself and Kikuchi in which the latter threatens to fire Ibushi. Kota Ibushi is still with New Japan at this time, but he is facing punishment for his comments. In a statement, New Japan said that Ibushi will be subject to a 10% pay cut for the next 3 months, claiming he has acted in breach of his contract. The same pay cut will also be experienced by New Japan Representative Director Takami Obari and a member of New Japan staff who is also being transferred to a different role in the company. Ibushi said that he doesn't believe he can go back to New Japan after what he said, but while he is still with the company for now, he won't be earning as much as he used to. Now, WWE Hell in a Cell was a great show despite some notable absences, including undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions The Usos, and Riddle, but one absence from commentary was Pat McAfee. The SmackDown announcer has proven to be extremely popular with fans since becoming a commentator, and many weren't pleased to not hear from him on Sunday. On the latest episode of his Pat McAfee show, the former NFL punter discussed his absence from the show and explained why he wasn't called to Hell in a Cell. "I was not at Hell in a Cell, SmackDown only had one match, and all parties agreed that it was probably not worth the trip to Chicago and back for that. It ended up being a 13-minute match." That match was the no-holds-barred match between Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, which saw the latter get the win in just the latest big victory of his career. McAfee would have no doubt been excellent on commentary at Hell in a Cell, but it wasn't meant to be, though fans can expect to hear from him this Friday on SmackDown. Hell in a Cell marked the last time fans will see Cody Rhodes in the ring for a while, as he'll need surgery to come back from his torn pectoral muscle, and this leaves an opening for a top babyface in WWE. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer addressed who could fill the hole left by the American Nightmare and said how Bobby Lashley seems like the most likely candidate at this time. Meltzer explained that with Randy Orton reportedly injured, WWE will need someone big to fill the Reigns-Orton match rumored for SummerSlam, and that could be the Almighty. At Hell in a Cell, Lashley gestured that he wants a shot at being world champion again, and it's very telling that the Almighty made his title plans clear the same night Rhodes wrestled his last match for some time. If Lashley does face Reigns at SummerSlam, odds are the Tribal Chief will retain, given that a match with Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle has already been teased, but the WWE Universe can expect a monster push for the Almighty in the wake of Cody Rhodes' absence. AEW news next as Adam Cole defeated Samoa Joe at Double or Nothing 2022, but suffered an injury in the process. This injury forced AEW to pull the former NXT champion from last week's Dynamite, where he was supposed to compete in a 10-man tag team match, and now we know more about his situation. On Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez noted that Cole has suffered some kind of shoulder injury, but didn't specify exactly what issues he's having or with which shoulder. It was added that AEW have decided to pull Cole from all matches until further notice, but are quietly hopeful that he'll be wrestling again in time for Forbidden Door on June 26th. Just because he won't be wrestling doesn't mean Cole won't be appearing on TV, and we're sending our best to the first ever Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament champion. And we're ending today with Monday Night Raw, and if you attend a taping of the Red Brand Live, you'll usually get treated to a match after the show goes off the air, which is done to send the crowd home happy. This week, however, WWE didn't have a post-show match, but fans instead got a moment with Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. Addressing the crowd, Belair spoke about Money in the Bank as her promo came after Rhea Ripley earned a shot at the EST's title at the upcoming Premium Live event. Ripley also thanked fans for coming to the show, and WWE also held its Raw Talk show, where Riddle vowed to show up to this Friday's SmackDown and confront Roman Reigns. Riddle is rumored to be facing the Tribal Chief at Money in the Bank, and we're confident he'll have plenty to say this Friday on SmackDown. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.